Well, they didn't have an assistant that day, and I went by myself. It was the most horrific party I think I've ever done.
Wow. Can we go back to this summer job conversation? I really feel like it has some mileage in it.
Okay.
I remember all my friends, most of my friends were wealthy enough. They came from families. They could go away for the summer. They didn't work. I had to work. There's no getting out of it, right? My dad said, well, no, you can stay home and do nothing, but I'm not paying for anything. I'm not. He'd throw me a 20 every once in a while, but that was about it.
Yeah.
If you want to go out with your friends or, your other poor friends, then you're going to have to get your ass up and go to work. And so, Baskin Robbins, several summers. And I told you guys once I was a DJ at the ice skating rink at the mall.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It was awful.
Oh.
What would be awesome about being a DJ at the ice skating rink at the mall?
I don't know.
Because you get to play the music you want to play. You get to spy on people and see who's coupling up. You get to see if someone comes back with a different person the next day. You're at the mall. You can go shopping on your break or hit the food court. That sounds like a good summer job.
Well, they didn't have me on prime time. I was during the day when there was like one person skating.
Yeah.
Even better.
Single skate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when a few people would skate, they would never like my music. They would, could you have blah, blah, blah. And they would make us bring our own music, our own records to play. They were records back then. And I never had what they wanted. So I was the most hated ice skating rink DJ in the mall ever. But you made a little money here. I worked for a newspaper for a second, and that was okay.
Nice.
It looks like I worked more summer jobs than you guys did.
I feel like my job, it wasn't just summer. Like I did children's entertainment at Pinky's Party Palace, and it was...
Yes. Let's talk about that.
But I dressed up in costume of all these, different characters. I think Pinky's is actually still there in the Bronx. But that was all year long. In the summer, I probably worked more parties, but I did that all year long on the weekends and made a lot of money doing that.
I worked at a music store. That was really fun. I worked at a Greek restaurant. I worked at the mall. I worked at a Steinmart. Did all kinds of stuff.
Yep. Okay. A lot of people are checking in on the text at 55100. A lot of people were lifeguards. They worked at country clubs. Remember that old movie called Caddyshack?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a really old, but it's a funny movie, and it's it kind of centers around this country club, very wealthy country club, and all the kids that have to come in every summer and be the caddies for the rich guys. All the stories they could tell. I bet that's a treasure trove of stories.
Yep.
All these rich people getting in there and getting all drunk and playing golf.
A fun fact about Caddyshack, the outdoor scenes were filmed at Grand Oaks Golf Club in Davie, Florida, right in South Florida.
Oh, wow.
They're listening to us.
There you
right
go.
now.
Did any of you ever have a job where you got paid in like the product? Because I did.
No.
I worked for my friend's mom's clothing store, and instead of paying me money, she gave me clothes. And at the time, I was like, that works for me. So I did it. I just did it.
We were part of the Palm Shore Beach and Cabana Club in Brooklyn. And at 14 years old, they said, all right, now you're going to earn a living, kid. They put me behind the counter at 14 years old. And I worked every summer, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Just pouring, as I said, pouring the coffee and scooping ice cream. Oh, my God. It was misery.
When I started in radio, that was how we got paid.
Product,
wow.
Yeah, like they would give us like the half price deal of whatever it was. Like, here's some gift certificates. Don't ask me for any money. I'm like, what?
Right. And if you're really nice, every once in a while you get the worst seat in the house at a concert.
Yeah.
Let's see. People texting in. My first job was a lottery pick in New York. I was chosen to be a lumberjack at 14. What? Dunkin' Donuts. We had to wear the hideous dresses in brown, orange, and pink. Required uniform. People that worked at a cheese shop in the summertime. I worked at a well-known women's clothing store, constantly found poop and urine in the dressing room.
Oh, my gosh. What is wrong with people?
I never get that. It's so gross.
Why are people pooping in the dressing room?
I don't know.
Scotty B, was that you?
It might have been.
Scotty B, didn't you have some fun summer jobs?
I mean, I worked at a radio station in the summer. That was cool. I did all the promotions and threw CDs at people.
You had to dress up as a
my God, yes.
What'd you dress up as?
I was an inflatable Walkman. I had to wear like a 50-pound battery pack and walk in 100-degree parades in a giant inflatable Walkman radio.
And everyone here knows the story about how the competing station had a duck, right?
Yeah, I fell over.
They would have to go to the same events, and the duck and the Walkman would get into fights and push each other.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You can't get up. That thing is it's like 8 feet tall, and I was just laying flat. You can't get up.
I have a story, too, from that. When I worked in costumes. So one day I was supposed to be baby, I think it was Barney's little sister. What was her name? I don't even know, but whatever. So usually if you're in a big furry costume with the head on, they send an assistant with you because it's a lot. And, you know, your head would fall off. A kid could push you. You know, it's hard to do the balloon animals and magic. Well, they didn't have an assistant that day, and I went by myself. It was the most horrific party I think I've ever done.
Were the kids like kicking you and stuff?
Well, yeah, and I couldn't tie the balloons with my fuzzy fingers. It was like it was not good. And I was like, I did the best I could. What are you gonna do?